What's going on, y'all? It's GUMGUMTCG here, back again with another video. Today I have something new for you. I've got a tier list. Today we're going to be doing a tier list for the Op04 Leaders metagame. We got all the leaders here, including the structure decks up to Op04, and yeah, we're just going to get right into this, honestly. Alright, so if you look at the tier list, we got a couple different tiers. We got tier 1. These are going to be the top of the game. These are going to be topping events constantly and top of your locals all the time. Very hard decks to beat, and yeah, they're just the top of the game. Tier 1, baby. Next, we got tier 2. You know, these are right below tier 1. These can sneak in and win events all the time, too. These are going to be at the top levels, too. Maybe a little bit less representation, but very strong decks as well. And could definitely easily take a locals or a big level event. Next, we have Rogue. Rogue is going to be a little bit less slivers of your top cut. You're going to see these decks pop up at big events and probably get taken out the first couple rounds. Maybe one sneaks its way up into top cut. If there's the right pilot, it could definitely take down a big event or a locals all the time. I think that these Rogue decks are all solid options, but they're just not as powerful as the other decks above them. Next, we got Scrub Out. These are going to be the decks that if you play these, you're probably just going to go to locals. You're going to get scrubbed out. It's not going to go too well for you. You're just going to get the round 1 loss. You're going to get the round 2 loss, and then you're going to end up with the bye and just drop. I think the same thing at like a regional. Like, you'll scrub out. You'll go and play a couple rounds and just lose. I don't think this is a deck that should be played very often. You know, it's more just for fun, but you're going to scrub out with it. And then we got Don't Play This. It's as simple as it sounds. Don't play this deck. I don't think that these should be played. Maybe play them just for fun, but don't play this if you're wanting to go take your locals down. And again, these are all just my own opinions. If you have your own opinions, please leave those down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you all think. If you think that anything I put on this list is wrong, if you like my takes, if you think some of them are hot, let me know. I'd love to hear that. Also, I want to shout out Dueling Guard. If you haven't heard of Dueling Guard, they are the best new TCG accessory company on the market. They make amazing quality anime accessories, and I'm going to leave a link to their website down below with a discount code GUMGUMTCG for a discount at checkout. Definitely go make sure to check them out. What? You haven't heard of Dueling Guard? Dueling Guard is the best TCG accessory company on the market. They have high quality deck boxes, binders, and playmats made for people who enjoy playing and collecting trading card games in style. They have tons of designs based off of fan favorite animes such as One Piece, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, and many more. They hit the ground running earlier this year, making high-quality TCG accessories with beautiful designs that have sold out many times. So if you haven't picked up any of their products, make sure to do so before they sell out again. I have a few deck boxes and playmats from them already and can attest to how they don't cut any corners when it comes to quality, performance, and design. I highly recommend their products and use them every time I play cards. Be sure to check the description below for a link to their site and use code GUMGUMTCG for a discount at checkout. Alright, y'all, without further ado, let's jump right into this. We have the Black Yellow Big Mom to start us off. I don't think this leader's great. I think that it is a less powerful version of what the Queen leader tries to do and a less powerful color combination. I think yellow and black is kind of cool together, but I don't think they complement themselves very well, and I don't think they complement themselves in a way to help this leader do what it really wants to do. I'm going to put this in the Scrub Out section. You know, this is one of those decks that if you're wanting to play the color combo, it's your only option, and take it to locals, but you're probably just going to get scrubbed out. I've seen a couple lists do something in the Op03 game, but I don't think it's going to have a chance moving forward. Next, we got Zoro, everybody's favorite fucking red deck, and one of my least favorite. However, I do think that Zoro loses a little bit power from this next meta. We have some new decks coming in that are just so powerful and so aggro and boost to older decks that I really think that Zoro's aggro strategy, as well as a lack of new powerful cards for the deck, it's going to make it not a tier 1 threat anymore. I think it's still going to be strong, but I do think it's going to move down to tier 2. I think there's other decks that are going to take the spotlight this meta, and I don't think Zoro's going to be one of them. One of them will be Law. This deck is absolutely nuts, and the fact that it only plays cards from the first 2 sets and doesn't need anything from Op03 or Op04 it's absolutely crazy. So I think that if you're interested in playing a deck that's really going to make you think a lot and has a lot of power behind it, a lot of searchability, and can easily pull out a win against slower decks, Law is going to be that deck for you. It's very strong. The color combination is ridiculously strong, as well as the card pool. So that's why I think Law is going to be one of the on-top decks this format. I think that it's just very strong. It always has been, and I think it always will be until they nerf it somehow. Next, we got its not-so-strong counterpart, Red-Green Luffy. You know, I'm going to put this down in Rogue category. I think that it has potential. It's definitely better than the Black-Yellow Big Mom deck, but it's not as good as Zoro, and it's definitely not as good as Law. It's got that sweet same color combination, and you can play the same kind of cards you play in Law. However, I don't think that this leader effect is fast enough for it to be a successful deck, at least not in this metagame yet. Maybe if we get some better cards for Red and Green Supernovas, we'll see something else happen with that. But for now, I don't think that it's going to be topping anything anytime soon. We got Odin next, the green man himself from set 1. I think that I'm going to put this as... I want to put it at Rogue, but I kind of want to put it at Scrub Out. I don't feel that Odin's that strong. I'm going to keep it in Rogue, because the green color pool is very strong. You do get some new good cards for green in this next set. So, yeah, we're going to keep it in Rogue. However, I don't think it's going to be moving up anytime soon unless there's some new busted Lana Wano cards. Moving forward, next we got Doflamingo. Doflamingo. Let me think. We get the new Animal Kingdom cards, no 7 Warlord cards. We do get Red Rock. That's going to be really good for this deck. I'm going to put it at tier 2. I don't think that it's tier 1. It's not incredibly broken like some of these other decks, but it is very strong because of its consistency. It's such a consistent deck and strategy that it gives it that power. It's also so defensive and so resource recursive that it can stand up to some of these other really powerful decks, and I could see it topping an event. Next, we got Blue Purple Kaido. So Blue Purple Kaido gets a bunch of support for this next set, and I'm excited to see what it does. And honestly, this might be a hot take. This might be a shocker for y'all, but I'm going to put it at tier 2. I think that this is a strong, viable option for OP04 just because of some of the new cards. You know, the new 10-drop Kaido is very strong. Red Rock's very strong. A Searcher to find your island is very strong. Ramping to 10 Dawn on like turn 4 is incredibly strong. And this deck can really take advantage of that stuff. It can go double 9-drop Kaidos 2 turns in a row, and then the next turn still be at like 7-8 Dawn. It's kind of insane. And if you get the right pilot behind it, I could see this deck winning an event. And I'm excited to see what it does. It's got a lot of potential. Next, we got its counterpart, Blue Purple Croc. And I think that it's going to go right there with it. I am going to put it right above it, though. I think that Croc gets a... actually, I feel like they're kind of even, honestly. They both get quite a buff from this next set, and they both get a new bomb to drop on their opponent. Croc gets a little bit more defensive cards, but Kaido gets a little bit more aggressive cards. So I think that they're both at the same level. They're both going to be doing stuff, and they're both decks to watch out for. Blue-purple's a nasty combination. Next, we got King, and y'all should know where he's going. Don't play this. I don't think King's great. The leader effect's just not great. If you want to play a purple deck, Animal Kingdom Pirates, just play Kaido. Like, I don't play this. Not anything else to say about it. Next, we got something that everybody's probably still thinking about and worried about because it's still topping events after 2 hits to this deck. 2 big hits. 1 ban list completely targeted at it, and then another hit just targeted at it right when it came out. And that's going to be Whitebeard, Edward Newgate. This man is unkillable. Just like in the manga, he is unkillable. And I think this is going to be a hot take as well. I don't think he's going to be tier 1 anymore. I think he's going to be the top of tier 2. I think that he's very strong. However, against some of these other new decks that are going to start coming out, especially any leader that has the color blue in it, it's going to have a hard time against because blues just play so much removal to get rid of some of their really strong cards like their Marcos. And they already only have 1 Newgate. They only have 1 Rad Beam. They don't have Moby Dick. They only have 1 Marco. Like, the deck's struggling. It's still topping events right now, but I don't see it continuing to top events with all these new options coming out. I do see it Okay, let me rephrase that. I do see it continuing to top events. However, I don't see it being the only thing most represented metagame, just killer, any longer. I think that it's going to be top of tier 2. I think it's very strong, but I think that it's about time that Whitebeard's starting to fall off. We got some new decks that are a lot faster paced and aggro that can really help control the board against him. Next, we got Monkey D. Garp, and I think this is just one of these other fun decks. You know, the color combination's really cool. The color combination's really fun. I think it's a scrub out deck, though. You know, something you just go play out for locals and have a good time with. I don't see it winning a huge event. I could see you winning your locals with it. However, the new black cards in OP04 really revolve around the Dressrosa typing, and I guess it doesn't have to be Dressrosa. You can play it in other decks, but I don't see you playing a lot of those cards in this list. You could play a couple. I just don't think that Garp's going to be something to mess around with right now. If anything, I'd rather wait for Sabo in set 5. That's the same color combination with a so much better effect. Such a better effect. Next, we got Kinemon, and he's going to go right next to Odin. I think he's rogue. I think the green card pool's strong, but I think that Kinemon and the Wano cards right now are just a little too slow. I'm really hoping that we get a green-yellow Wano leader. I could see it being like a Momonosuke, but for now, I think that the Wano cards on their own, green and yellow, just aren't strong enough. And I think if you were to be able to put those together with a couple other yellow and green techs, you could pull off a really nasty deck list. But for now, I think Kinemon's a rogue. Sanji. Man. It's one of the best looking alt-art leaders. You know, I hate to say this, but I do think it's going to be a scrub out moment. I think it's just one of those fun decks that you go play at locals. I am going to put it at the top, though. I think it's very strong. The green cards we get next set are very strong. And you have the film package. I just don't think it's great. I could see it becoming better eventually. However, for right now, I still think it's just one of those fun decks you go scrub out with. Ivankov. This is going to go right here in Rogue as well. And I'm going to put it above Odin and Kinemon. Maybe below Luffy, though, because Luffy still has those red cards. But Ivankov gets access to Red Rock next set. And I think that's really going to help the deck out a bit. But I don't see it being much stronger than Rogue at best. It's got some really powerful pushes and plays, but I think that there are better blue leaders next set, and it's an option, but I think there are better options out there. Next, we got Magellan, and yeah, this is going to be Rogue as well. I'm going to put him right behind Ivankov, and I think one thing to take into consideration is all these purple decks, I'm not factoring in any of the new Ultra deck cards. So right now we're just talking about OP04 and before we get those new cards. So I think after that and after OP05 drops, Magellan will be stronger. I think that every purple deck gets a big boost from those sets. But for now, I think he is still Rogue. He's a strong option. He can keep some of these other decks off their Dawn for a little bit, put some annoying bodies on the field, and yeah, he can be hard to deal with. I think once you get that 7-drop kid, this leader becomes really strong. One that's not so strong is Z. I think Z is also going to go in the scrub out category. I want to put him above Sanji, but I think I'm going to keep him below it. I think that the color combo is really strong. However, I think that this deck relies too heavily on the 10-drop Kuzan. They do have the new Shanks card, but I think that it relies too heavy on 10-cost Kuzan, and if you can't get to that, it's kind of hard to play with. You're just playing Smokerless Smoker at that point, and I think if you want to play that, just play Smoker, or if you want to play Kaido, just play Kaido. So, yeah, I think it's just more of a fun deck. One that's not, though, is Smoker, and I think that this is going to be Rogue. I am going to put it above some of these other... I actually am going to move this Luffy. This Luffy, I think, is about here. I think Smoker gets a boost from a couple of the new cards. The Monkey D. Luffy is very strong, however, might be hard to pull off in the deck. I think that it really gets a boost from Sabo. Sabo's an incredible new blocker for the black colorway, and every black deck benefits from that. and I'm very excited to get my hands on those and try those out. I think there's a couple other cards for the black colorway in OP04 that you could test out in here. But for now, I do think he's going to be Rogue. I think that there are just a handful of better decks in the room. Next, we got Ace. Ace is still pretty strong to me. I'm not really sure where to put him. He doesn't really get a boost next set, so I think I'm going to keep him at Rogue. I think he's still very strong. He's got very strong tools like Flame Emperor, Fire Fist, and just all the searchers, but I don't know, especially if they hit Newgate again, like if they hit the Whitebeard Pirates archetype again, then Ace kind of just goes down a little bit. So not really sure how I'm feeling about it. I think I'm just going to keep him near the top of Rogue. Next we have Kuro, and this is going to be a shocker to y'all, but I'm going to put Kuro at the back of tier 2. I think that Kuro is a sleeper of a deck. I've seen it top events. It gets up there at the top of events all the time, just creeps its way in, and it'll take down a locals in the blink of an eye. And next set, they start playing the cat out of the bag card, as well as the new vanilla Kuro card, and just those two cards alone give this deck a strong boost and can make it a very quick kill machine. So definitely be careful playing against Smoker, especially if you're playing a defensive strategy with a bunch of blockers. You'll get your shit wrecked by his ability and Jean and Creek. Next is one that I think is also going to be a scrub out. It's going to be Arlong, and I think he's going to go behind all these guys, honestly. I don't think he's great. Actually, I think the Big Mom deserves to be next to him. I don't think he's great. Strange colorway. I just don't think they're strong enough cards to support him. If we get Fishman cards that are like green or yellow that could go well with his strategy, that have trigger and stuff, I could see it being a lot better. But for now, I don't think he's cutting it. Next is Nami. And I think Nami is also going to be one of those rogue decks. I'm going to put it down here. Right around here. I think Nami's very strong with the right pilot. However, it's just kind of hard to win with it every time. There are some people out there that win with it a lot. However, I don't know. It doesn't get too much of a boost from this next set. Red Rock's nice removal, but I don't think it really needs that. And yeah, I just see it being rogue at best. It could come and top an event for sure. If they give Kabuji back, then it could definitely move up a tier or two. But for now, I think that Nami's just kind of hanging out where she is. Next, we got Iceberg. Iceberg is, interesting. I think Iceberg is going to be a scrub out deck as well. I think it's going to be the top of the pack, though. Iceberg has a very strong card pool, and the leader effect is very strong, gets you some free advantage. However, not being able to attack with your leader is one of those things that gives some of these new decks a downfall. And yeah, I think he's great, but doesn't receive much of a boost from this set. I think after some of the new purple cards come out, we could see this leader being a little bit stronger. But for now, it is what it is. They do get a couple new cards, actually. I still just think it's more of a fun deck, though. I guess it could come take down a locals, but I think it's more likely to scrub out against some of these other decks. I think some of these other decks are a little bit stronger. We got Katakuri here, and Katakuri, I think we're going to be putting at the top of tier 2 as well. I'm going to put him right here. Trying to think. Yeah, I think that feels about right. Gets a couple new yellow cards. Nothing crazy, though. I think it's still just a very strong tier 2 contender that it can keep up with some of the top decks. It's very strong. 10-drop Big Mom is a very strong card. Katakuri leader effect is very strong. And yeah, it can definitely come take down an event and can definitely pull up in the deck breakdowns, you know, a mass majority of it. Next, we got Vivi. I want to put it in don't play this, but I'm going to put it in scrub out near the bottom. I haven't seen a cool Vivi list yet. I haven't seen, like, very many topping lists at all. And if you got one, definitely share it. I'd love to see what you're working with. I think that there are cool ideas with it. I think the leader effect is strong, but the leader not being able to attack just puts you at such a disadvantage early game, and I think that's the downfall of this deck. I know why they did it, but I just think this leader could have been a lot better than what it is, and maybe it will be eventually if we get a couple more stronger cards for the red and blue colorway that fit this leader. But for now, I think it's more of a fun deck. You can build this and try a couple goofy things out. All right, we're starting to get into some of these new heavy hitters, and one of those heavy hitters is Green Purple Dofi. This is a tier 1 deck for sure. I think this deck is really strong. Actually, I gotta move Whitebeard back up here. Whitebeard might actually be at the end of tier 1. I think I am gonna move him up there. Yeah, I'm going to keep him up there. He's going to be at the bottom of it, though. I think some of these other decks are just a little bit stronger. Anyway, back to Green Purple Dofi. This deck is so strong. The colorway is so strong. And having access to the film cards, both parts of them, and being able to search your entire deck with Nami and Buena Festa is insanely powerful. Not to mention the new Dofi family cards, as like Sugar and the 10-drop Doflamingo. Those cards are super strong. Diamante's very strong. And you got the Spiderweb event. That card's a better Paradise Waterfall. I mean, the deck's just very strong, and I think that it's going to pop up in a lot of events. Alrighty, next we got Isho, and man, I'd like to put this in Rogue, but I think it has to go at the top of Scrub Out. I think that it's got some strong cards going for it, like in the black colorway, and a couple strong ones in the green colorway as well. The X-Drake from the green structure deck is very strong, but I just don't think this leader is as strong as I'd like it to be. I think that it has potential, but right now that potential's not there. I think that in the future we could see this leader maybe doing something a little more interesting, but for now, he's kind of just hanging out. We got Rebecca next. This deck, whew, top of tier 1. I think that it's got to go right up there with Law and Dofi. I think that these are going to be fighting for the top spot. I think they're very strong, and yeah, I'm very excited to see what Rebecca does and see if it's the Whitebeard meta killer. I think that it really will be. It's very strong, very fast, very defensive, all at the same time, and yeah, I think it's going to be a threat. I think that the new decks you have to watch out for are Doflamingo and Rebecca. There's definitely past decks, but these are the new big ballers. So keep your eyes peeled for those and be prepared for that matchup at your locals. Next, we got Queen. Queen is the deck I've personally been testing out and excited for set 4. I think that it takes a lot of thinking and very strategical gameplay. You have to think about your plays a lot, and I would like to put it higher, but I think I'm going to top it out at the top of Rogue. Tier 2 seems a little high for it. You know, I feel like it can hold its own. Actually, I don't know. Thinking about these other decks, I think it could go at the back end of tier 2. And kind of right there with Kuro. I think that it's very strong. In the right hands, it can be devastating, and it can live a very long time. I feel that Queen, though, is going to have issues with time rules, and that's going to be the downfall of this deck. You're going to go into time with 1 life against your opponent's 2, or something like that, and you're just going to catch the L. Unfortunately, that's how that deck plays. It's very slow, very grindy, but I do think it could steal a couple wins if you have the right pilot and the right set of cards in your hand. Next, we got the purple-yellow Croc deck, and I don't know. I kind of want to put this... I think this is going to go at the top end of Rogue. I think that it has some strong cards. I feel that it does something similar to Queen, where it'll play like the new purple Crocodile and gain a life. Then it'll play Katakuri and stack something to gain a life. And then it'll play another purple Crocodile to gain a life. And it's just kind of annoying in that sense. It generates a lot of advantage with those crocodiles on the field. However, I think that blue-purple croc does that better, and that Queen does the life regeneration better. I think that the color combo is interesting. The new cards are cool. Might be something I toy around with just for fun, but I don't really know yet. Interested to see what it does, if someone can make it really strong or not. But for now, I'm going to leave him at the top end of Rogue. See what he does. Next, we got Uta. And I know there's a lot of Uta fans out there, so I'm not going to do Uta too dirty. I could put it in don't play this. Should I do it? Nah, it's just going to go at the bottom scrub out. I think it's a fun deck. There's a lot of vanilla cards that you can play with Uta. The Whitebeard package is very strong in this deck. You can do a lot of searching and grabbing your big bodies off of it. And Red has just a lot of very strong cards in its card pool that can make this leader better than what it actually is. Next, we got Monkey D. Luffy, Red from the Structure deck. And I think this is going to be in the Rogue category right here up with Ace, Smoker, Ivankov, Nami, that kind of stuff. I think it's strong, but Zoro's the better Red deck. It doesn't really get any new cards that boost it up or anything, so I think it's right there hanging out with Ace. Nothing too much else to say about that. We got Green Captain Kid. You know, I think this is also going to be top end of Rogue. Actually, I think I'm going to put it at the back end of tier 2 because the film package is very strong in this deck. That's what a lot of people have been running lately. And with the new Doflamingo cards like Sugar and the 10-drop Doflamingo, this deck can get a big boost, especially locking up your opponent's whole field and then getting a huge double swing with that Kid leader as well as a 10k swing with that Doflamingo. That's very devastating. It could easily take your opponent out very quickly. Next, we got Blue Croc. And I'm going to catch some flack from my brother for this, but I think it's very strong. It's going to go right near the top of tier 2, right there with Katakuri. I don't think it's tier 1 yet. I think it needs to prove itself, but I think that this deck is very strong. The new Blue Kaido card is incredible, especially paired with Red Rock, 3000 Worlds, and some of the other defensive tools this deck has. The leader effect, it's just constantly removing things from your opponent's field and puts them in a state where they cannot keep up with the cards you're putting on field while removing theirs. And that's what gives this deck that power. If it tops a lot, we'll move it up to tier 1 for sure, but for now, I think it's top into tier 2. Definitely could take down an event easily, and it's something to watch out for. If you pull up against your opponent playing Blue Croc, you better be ready for your board to get removed. Next, we got Purple Kaido, and I think this is also going to go in Rogue. I'm going to put him down here with Magellan. He doesn't get a real big boost from this next set or anything. Not really much to talk about in general, honestly. So, yeah, he's just kind of hanging out. Film Shanks. Don't play this. Don't really need to talk about it. I don't think this is very good. Yeah, don't play this. Sakazuki, I'm going to put it at the back of the scrub out as well. Actually, maybe up here. Right next to Z. Yeah, just play Smoker if you're wanting to play a black deck like this. Just play Smoker, man. You know, I think we're missing a leader. Yeah, we're missing a leader. We're missing Rob Lucci. That's my bad, y'all. I apologize for not having Rob Lucci on here. But, if Rob Lucci was on here, I'd probably throw him at the back end of tier 2 as well. I think that he's very strong and can take advantage of that new Monkey D. Luffy Black Dressrosa card. And yeah, I could see it doing some cool stuff with Air Door, pumping a bunch of stuff into the grave, and then playing the Luffy, shuffling everything back. I think that it's very strong. Yeah, I could see it doing some cool stuff. Back into tier 2. Just keep that in your mind. Next, we got Charlotte Linlin, yellow. I'm going to put this at the back end of Rogue as well. I think that the yellow card pool is very strong. However, the leader effect's just not that great. It's cool. It's not amazing, though. I think I'm going to throw him right here next to Smoker. Yeah, nothing crazy. Next, we got Black Monkey D. Luffy. I'm going to say don't play this, man. I know a lot of people are testing this leader out and thinking it's cool and it's a lot of fun to play. I don't like it. I tested it out a little bit. Kept getting clapped up. Not a fan. Just play Smoker, man. That's what I keep saying. Just play Smoker. It's the best black leader right now for the Navy archetype. And that's really what the Monkey D. Luffy deck plays, is a lot of Navy cards. And I just prefer to play Smoker at that point. And if you're wanting to play a new black archetype, play the Dressrosa Rebecca deck. And our last leader is going to be Yamato. I think Yamato's also going to end up right around the same place as Charlotte Linlin, Rogue. It gets some new Wano cards that are kind of cool, but like I was talking about earlier with Kinemon and Odin, I think until they pull that card pool together in a green-yellow deck, that it's just not that great. Like, I guess you could play Arlong and play a bunch of Wano shit, but that doesn't sound very good to me. I'd rather wait for, like, I really think it's going to be a Momonosuke leader, and it's going to be green and yellow and have some cool effect that lets you search through your deck or something. So, excited to see what that is, because the Odin card is very strong. The new yellow Yamato card is very strong. That's why I'm keeping this in Rogue and not down in Scrub Out, because that yellow Yamato card that comes out in OP04 really supports some of these new yellow decks, like Yamato, Katakuri, Queen, and Crocodile can all take advantage of that card very easily. And yeah, some of those big hitters from the Wano archetype would be really strong paired together in a green-yellow Wano deck. So maybe we'll see that in OP06. But that's going to be it for today's video, y'all. This is my tier list. I think that I wanted to keep tier 1 kind of small and condensed. You know, these are the top decks. I think these are going to be the most played decks this format and going to see the top representation. And then we got tier 2. I think that these are going to see top representation as well. But when we move on to top cut in these final rounds, these are going to be some of the decks that get dropped off at the end. I think that there's a lot of strong contenders. Like I said, a couple that I want to point out: Rebecca, Law, Dofi. These are top dogs. Whitebeard's up there too, but we've already talked about Whitebeard enough. Fuck red decks. All my homies hate red decks. Another one to mention is Blue Croc. I think that's powerful. I think Purple, Blue, Kaido, and Croc are both going to be up there. Powerful decks. Queen is something to watch out for. And I think that's going to be about it. I think that the rest of these decks are going to be kind of just fun to play against. And I'm really excited to see how this meta diversifies and you get to play against a bunch of new stuff. It gives you a bunch of new options of cards to play with, and you're going to be seeing a bunch of stuff at regionals and locals and things like that. I don't think it's going to be a red-dominated meta anymore, and I hope that's the future moving forward. However, moving into OP05, I think purple is going to start to take that spotlight. But that's going to be it for today's video, y'all. I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't checked out Dueling Guard, remember to go check out them. I have a link down in the description below to their website, as well as code GUMGUMTCG you can use for a discount at checkout. If you haven't checked me out on social media, go check me out. I have all those linked down below as well. Make sure to check out my Discord channel. We have a server right now that we're at like 65 members or something like that. I'm trying to grow to 100. If you join, we got a bunch of people in there talking, sharing deck lists and stuff. I always share deck lists after my streams. And yeah, really trying to build a community, do some online tournaments and stuff like that. And I'm going to be hosting a free one once we hit 100 Discord members. So make sure to hop into that if you want to be part of a free tournament. And speaking of my streams, I stream on Sunday on Twitch. Go check me out there. I have a link to that below. And yeah, that's going to be it, y'all. If you haven't checked out Captain's Wheel, go check that out too. I'll link that down below. It's a new series I'm doing with my brother, and I'd love for you all to check that out and let me know what you think. It's going to be coming out weekly on Fridays. But I hope you all enjoyed this tier list video. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, leave them down in the comments below. I want to hear what you all have to say about this. If some of my takes are hot, if some of my takes are bad, let me know. And I hope you all have a great day and are ready for OP04. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.